What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones and how he's been ranked the 7th overall best player in the league. So let's see what they have to say about that.
I find this team really interesting. They finished the season 6-2. They beat the Niners on the road. They beat the Saints on the road. They signed Todd Gurley. But I feel like Matt Ryan hasn't necessarily lived up to expectations. Do you think they can still win a Super Bowl with those two, Julio and Ryan?
I would say anything's possible, but I think Matt Ryan might be a little bit more better of a quarterback than people think.
I would not predict them to do it. And you're right, on paper, they have a lot of the formula. They have a coach-quarterback combination that's been to a Super Bowl. They have one of the greatest receivers of all time, still in his prime, in Julio Jones, just the guy you want. In the locker room, on the field, the whole thing. They have a deep receiving core, Ridley on the other side, and they have, what's his name, Gage. I mean, they have guys. They have they have talent at receiver, not just Julio Jones. And they bought low on Todd Gurley. I mean, if Todd Gurley can be 75% of his best self, you got a really good running back there who could do a lot of things. Even defensively, as you mentioned, they got better as the season went on. They're in a very competitive division. And I don't think they're the best team even in their division. I don't think they're the second best team in their division. And in addition to that, even if they were to win a Super Bowl, even if you're the best, you can get a little unlucky. And even just being the best in your division doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl. Since Shanahan left, when he was the offensive coordinator, they were at their best, and it looked like that offense was going to be just something that the NFC had to deal with for from now on. Shanahan left, that's no longer the case, and the Niners wound up in the Super Bowl. So I think maybe if
Hold on, let's go back to a little bit of back history here. So when Shanahan was with the Atlanta Falcons, they gave up a 200-point lead to let the New England Patriots and Tom Brady come back and win the game. The only time they were winning during that game was when they won the game at the end of it. And then with the San Francisco 49ers last year, he gave up, a 10-point lead with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So Shanahan, let's not hype him up to the fullest because he's made some major mistakes. So let's continue.
Shanahan were there, I would feel differently. He's not. I don't think the Falcons get back as currently constituted with Julio Jones.
I don't feel that.
So I would definitely say it's a possibility because Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than a lot of people give him. So here's the stats for last year. So he threw for 4,466 yards. That's 5th overall for quarterbacks. He threw 26 touchdowns. That's 8th overall for quarterbacks. He threw 14 interceptions. That's 26th overall for quarterbacks. And his QBR is 57.6. That's 14th overall for quarterbacks. So Matt Ryan is not that bad of a quarterback. You might think he's trash, but he's a little bit better than most people probably think. And let's take a quick look at Julio Jones' stats real quick. So last year he caught the ball 99 times. That's 6th overall for wide receivers. He got for 1,394 yards. That's 2nd overall for wide receivers. He caught 6 touchdowns. That's 24th overall for wide receivers. And he averaged 14.1 yards a catch. That's 26th overall for wide receivers. So needless to say, Julio Jones is definitely one of the probably top 1 or 2 wide receivers in the league at this point, between maybe him, Michael Thomas, and a couple other guys. But I can see Matt Ryan and Julio Jones being a nasty duo, even though they do play in that tough NFC South with the Panthers, Saints, and Bucks. So let's continue.
Way either, but that's primarily because of their defense. I think offensively, even though I don't think Todd Gurley is what he used to be, I still think that he can do some things. Obviously, you've got studs at the wideout spot because it ain't just about Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley can ball. If somebody didn't know that, they better ask somebody. That brother can ball. Make no mistake about it. And I definitely think that Matt Ryan can fling that football. So from an offensive standpoint, I definitely think they could be formidable enough to make things happen. Whether it be the injuries or anything else, their defense ranked 23rd last year, if I remember correctly. I don't think that's something that you can rely upon. It's notorious. It's notoriously been their problem, and I anticipate that it will continue to be a problem for them. In terms of how they won games as the season waned, Molly, and they won their last 4 games of the regular season. They beat San Francisco, but the other games were against Carolina, Jacksonville, and Tampa. Stop the presses. I mean, I'm so touched. I'm so enthralled by that. I'm not buying that. To me, that their season's over. You're playing with house money. Everybody knows you're not going anywhere. A combination of not taking you seriously, but you playing with house money and feeling like you got nothing to lose. I think that contributed to some degree of their success. Even the one game they won against New Orleans, Drew Brees had been out for a while before getting back because he had injured his hand. So I just look at some of their victories as being suspect. In the end, I've got too many questions about.
Nah, I give credit where credit's due.
their defense. I don't have any questions about their passing attack. I've got